medicinal plants, sensory and colory herbs, you know, beneficial insect attracting species. And you walk through here and you see tourists or even people who live in the area who aren't used to these plants coming and picking and sniffing and sampling, and you know, it just gives
what you want them to do.
So we refer to this place as the Urban Orchard, and we're sitting on top of a 2-storey car park here, and a bit like the rest of the Perth Cultural Centre civic space, it had become very tired. It's what's probably best referred to as a podium garden. So we have a concrete slab under us, which is the top of the car park, and there's only about 500 mil of soil and drainage material. And the previous landscape had become very tired. The soil was compact, the stormwater drainage was all packed up, a lot of the plants had become weedy or derelict. So what happened was the whole slab was stripped back, the membrane inspected to make sure it was in good condition, and it was, and then we reinstated this design. And the idea was to really incorporate an urban food production theme within the PCC. So what you can see here is these fruit trees in these raised planters. These sit over the columns that hold this whole deck up. So you can imagine, as a retrofit, there was a serious process of understanding the structural capabilities of this top deck here. And working with the structural engineers, that was the kind of compromise that we came to. We had to develop very lightweight mixers that would allow us to get the necessary 600 mil depth for roots that we wanted, and that's why we located these planters over those structural columns. And then everywhere else in between is kind of lawn space that firstly provides just a nice cool surface treatment. So on a hot day you can come and you can be out here and it's cool, rather than if it was paving it'd be terribly hot. It also means that the storm water infiltrates slowly through the lawn rather than getting peak, you know, sort of runoff events. And again, it becomes like a biofilter, soaking up water, nutrients and other urban you know, pollutants that come in that water. But the other thing that's very important is the overall sort of spatial arrangement of this area has been done to allow all sorts of events and other activities to take place. So whilst now it's just a piece of sort of public space and opportunities for food production, often on the weekends there's market stalls, or of an evening there can be big concert events, and the whole layout allows for different configurations for those type of event-based activities, and all the necessary power and water provision requirements are all in place, sort of hidden in and around the site. So a lot of thought and planning goes into making this work. What's really exciting though is that here now, this has been up and running for about 7 years, that it's been so well sort of adopted by the community. For the first 3 or 4 years we ran community planting or harvest and planting days sort of once a season, and we'd get 150 people rolling up on a Sunday morning, and we would harvest all the vegetables out of the beds, share the produce, and then replant the whole lot in about a 2-hour period. You know, really well organised, but also lots of hands making light work. But now that the fruit trees are becoming the heroes of the site, and the beds are now getting full of roots, we still grow, you know, some vegetables, but the focus is more on managing these fruit trees, and we're getting good produce off all of them. There's about 30 varieties of fruits, so everything from low chill, cool temperate things like pears, ranging through stone fruits, including peaches, nectarines, apricots, right through into some of the subtropical species like mangoes and guava and macadamia, Mediterranean species like mulberry and olive. And it's a great example to show the huge variety of fruits that can be grown in a local climate, in this case Perth. So a lot of educational value as well. And backing all this up is a website that the MRA host, where there's fact sheets on all the fruit trees and gardening tips, what people can do at home. And so it's both, I guess, an educational resource as well as one that really engages the local community.
Wonderful. So what happens to the fruit? Is it harvested in some way, or? Sure.
So the whole space is open 24 hours a day. Anyone's welcome to come and pick and share, and there's signs up to that effect. And there's also a lot of local ownership over this space. We have a number of volunteers who have been involved from the early day to either work in the area or live nearby. And so there's this kind of ethic that's developed about what's okay and what's not. So it's very unusual for someone to come in and abuse the sort of shared picking. So if there's something that's particularly heavily cropping, we have a local community group called East Perth City Farm, who have the management contract to do the day-to-day or week-to-week maintenance, and so they may harvest and utilise sort of excessive cropping, but the idea is that stuff that's available should be shared by people who are in the area, and that seems to work pretty well. The transition to medium density residential development, and so this area here now is a major access way from the new North Bridge into the city. So people back and forward, and so they see it in the morning and they see it on the way back after work, and they know this is here.